security camera could do more than just record. It could spot a threat, tell you about it in real time, and also act as a deterrent. That's the bet that Qubo is making with its AI-led security system. Let's find out more from the founder and CEO, Mr. Nikhil Rajpal. Thank you so much, Nikhil, for joining me on WION today. Let's start by talking about the big picture first. Now, India is tightening standards around CCTV imports, right? Do you see that as a very big opportunity that you're cashing into?
Oh, first of all, thank you for doing this and being here. To your question, absolutely. I think what has happened in the environment and the government standards is absolutely the right thing for a country like us. We need to make sure we have millions and millions of cameras around the country. They're safe and secure. So the new standards are really setting up a mechanism where the cameras sold in India pass a certain threshold in security. But that is doing is resetting the playing field. A lot of the foreign brands have left and create a huge opportunity for people like us who are already in there meeting those standards to scale dramatically, right? And just as an example, the last 1 year, we've scaled almost 10 times in cameras, monthly shipments. So it's been great for us.
Yeah. And, often we have come far away from a time when some mishappening would happen and we would look into cameras and see, okay, this has happened, and then act upon it. Now you've moved into real time. What exactly does that change for a consumer?
I think the way to think about this is you're absolutely right, it's real time. But more importantly, if you look at historical cameras and other devices like that, they were not very smart. You'd be wired, you'd have to break down the house to put them together. And they would simply, as you said, record and what happened, right? Now, with the improvements in AI and technology, not only can you record, but in real time, spot a threat and stop it. For example, our cameras have AI on the device, which can detect an intruder and do things like put on spotlights, start an alarm, even call you. So rather than just recording, we can actually stop the threat from happening. So I think that's where technology is today. And it's awesome in some ways.
Yeah. And, speaking of AI and cloud services, do they also create a lot of recurring business?
I think, they do for us. And that's great from a business model perspective. But to be clear, all the protection and the things I spoke about, we offer to our customers just when they buy a camera. They don't have to buy the subscription. The subscription or recurring services add more to it, more storage, more AI algorithms, but those are optional things people can buy from us. But yeah, from a business model perspective, it is a recurring business then.
Any numbers?
I think it's very early days. We started these new cameras which can record without SD cards 3-4 months ago, and we're seeing almost 18 to 20% attach rates of our subscription plans, which include both cloud storage and AI algorithms.
Okay.
So very encouraging.
Okay. And let's also talk about dash cams. The market did pick up a lot, but what's the status now? Is it plateauing in any way? Or if not, what's really driving the demand?
No, I think we're just beginning. If you look at any of these devices, India is just at the start of it, right? If you look at adoption of smart cameras, dash cams, we're talking less than 1 to 2% of homes and cars who have these products, right? So same with dash cams. Very early days, I think overall we've sold about nearly 300,000 dash cams. Maybe at max 1 million cars in India have dash cams, but there's 40 million car park. So we're just starting, and I think the growth is at a pretty inflection point right now.
Okay. And I also want to talk about creating an ecosystem that you're wanting. You have cameras, you have locks, you have doorbells, and you have auto products as well. So can consumers really stay in that one ecosystem to have all of their essentials protected? One is that, and at the same time, is it necessary to be part of that ecosystem, or some other devices can also be added to it?
I think a great question. I think this word ecosystem can also be helpful but seem scary. The way we thought of our products is each product works beautifully and solves the problem it's built for, right? You just buy it and you can get on with your life. But if you add more products, they work well together.
Yeah.
So a lock and a doorbell, if you buy both from us, you can see who's at the door and unlock it. So products add on to each other, but then we have an open ecosystem. We're not closed. So we work with Google, we work with Siri, we work with Alexa. It's not a closed ecosystem.
Okay. And I also want to talk from a business perspective, you do have heroes backing, right? And then you are a startup that works at speed. So how are you balancing both of these things? How do you combine Hero's scale and the speed of a tech-driven company?
I think we are a Hero Group company, so Hero are funded and helped by Hero. I think we've intentionally set up as a separate company, so we run on our own. We get capital and advice from Hero, but otherwise the team runs it. And I think that's the way we balance it: be fast, be nimble, be operate as a separate small company. But yeah, we have the patient capital of Hero behind us.
Correct, correct. And what's the growth looking like in tier 2, tier 3 cities? How is that demand shaping up?
It's when I started this business, I thought smart devices would be top 10 cities, and that was true in the initial days. 80% of our sales between 2020 and 24 came from the top cities. Today, almost 60% comes from tier 2. So the adoption in tier 2 is happening much faster than even I thought about it. So a lot, we have dash cams today from places like Kanyakumari to Kandla in Gujarat to even Baramulla in Kashmir. So it's all over the place.
Right. And speaking of your business, you've also onboarded strategic investors, right? KL Rahul and Athya Shetty. How did you bring them on board, and how does that actually translate into business?
Very interesting story. I met KL trying to convince him to work with us as a brand ambassador. It's funny that he'd already understood the business, knew about the business, was using a dash cams, and sort of what started off as a conversation around him being a brand endorser became him saying, "I want to get into the business." And I think having both KL and Athia as investors and partners is really helping us get the proposition out to a much broader audience. Right? In many ways, they represent the young couple, tech-savvy, upperly mobile who our customer represents. So that helps get the message out a lot.
Right, right. Let's also talk about your market outside India. You are entering Dubai, Saudi Arabia. So what's the global ambition? One. And, especially in these areas, right now they are conflict-prone areas, conflict areas. So how has that sort of impacted your business?
I think we're largely an India business. I think India has huge potential. We spoke about the fact that we're still scratching the surface. So I think we see massive opportunity in India, and that's going to be our focus. We are experimenting internationally because I think in dash cams, we've become one of the top 10 in the world now. And the mindset we had was if we can build something which works well in India, why not outside? So we're experimenting right now. The Middle East we started, but as you said, things are a little difficult right now. But yeah, we absolutely want to take our dash cams global.
Any other potential markets that you're targeting?
We're evaluating several, but
any partnerships in Germany, the Auto Hub?
I think if you're going to go after the next big market, it's going to be the US.
And I also want to understand, how is it building a hardware company in India? We are known as tech services exporters, but how is it building a hardware company in India?
Yeah, if I had known how hard it was before I started, I probably wouldn't have. As they say, hardware is hard, right? I think a lot of learnings, especially building in India. But the good news is, I think, a product company today is a combination of hardware and software. We're really good at the software side. What we're not good at is probably putting the product together, having enough people who have a product mindset. So that has been the hard part of building, learning, failing, and doing again. The cycles are 18 to 24 months of building a product versus 3 to 6 months, right? So that's been the hard part, but very proud that we built this product company right out of India. And now I'm seeing a lot more great companies coming up, both in electronics, in space, doing that in the future.
Okay. And, let's talk about the next big bet that you're looking to make. Where do you want to, be in the next 5 years? Do you want to be a hardware company or the smart tech platform or anything else that you have in mind?
Yeah, I think what we didn't speak about is the way we see Qubo, or I see Qubo, is we are reinventing existing products, embedding them in technology to be smarter, right? So the first big bet we made was security. So whether it's at home or in the car, security cameras and dash cams. And in both those categories today, we are market leaders in smart security. And that's scaling. The next big bet we are making is in environmental appliances. Okay. We think India is such, we need help in making a water, air cleaner and with better technology. So we started with the air purifiers a few years ago. That's been a great success. So this year we're getting into things like robo vacuums, room heaters, and maybe soon water purifiers. So that's the next bet.
How soon do you think these could scale?
I think air purifiers, we're already top 3 in the country. scaling very quickly. So the rest we'll find out this year.
Okay. And is an IPO on the cards?
I think we were lucky to be well funded for now.
Yeah.
At some point, well, absolutely. But I think we're a few years away from that.
Does this 5-year plan include that?
Hopefully.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Nikhil. It was lovely speaking with you.
Thank you.
From cameras to cars, Qubo wants to build a larger connected tech ecosystem. Now, it remains to be seen whether and how AI can turn that ambition into a scalable business. That was Mr. Nikhil Rajpal, the founder and CEO of Qubo on Big Business Bet.